I've picked this cult classic, Mad Max from 1979, directed by George Miller, as the next painting to do. And as you can see, a lot of the canvas is going to be taken up by Max's Interceptor police car. Um, as usual, I've sketched it onto a 7 by 5 inch board ready for painting. But there's one thing I thought I'd point out this time. You can see that his tyres have got a specific name on them. They're XT Renegade Nationals. And as much as I could attempt to paint these in or sketch them in by hand, I actually used, I got a bit of reference, printed it out, and used tracing paper to try and get the lettering better than I would have managed if I'd just drawn it by hand. So the actual car has been traced from a picture lightly. I mean, I haven't gone into detail with it. It's still rather loose and rough, but I knew I was going to want to try and paint the text on the tire, and I knew that I would probably fail. So with all things in life, if there's an easier way to do it, you might as well take that option. Everything else was just sketched out lightly, and I'll probably talk a bit more later on in the commentary about what else I changed in this scene. But here we go. Or I could talk about it right now. The scene is made up of two different scenes from the film. One obviously right before the next. Knight Rider's in his car, driving along causing chaos, and Max is waiting for him further down the road. Now, in the first scene, you see Max waiting, and there's a great big long winding hill road in front of him, and there's no sign of the Knight Rider. And I was going to paint that originally, but it makes much more sense to see Max's adversary on the crest of the hill. So I took the next scene and transposed that onto the bit of road. It's a really simple change, but you don't actually see that scene as it is in the film. But it makes sense just for this one-off painting. And again, Knight Rider's car in this painting is so small, it's just a tiny little blob. So there was no sort of worry about detailing of his car or anything. It was just, that's what it is. Again, as I said before, your brain puts in that information. Right, this is at an hour mark now. You'll have seen me put on a wash all over, and then I've just blocked in most of the major colours. I'm really just sort of concentrating on the tones at the moment. There's quite a lot I've got to change on the car. The red and the yellow is going to stay quite vibrant and strong, but the ultramarine blue needs to be muddied up and darkened, and there's quite a lot of work for the road. The road's quite simple, but there needs to be quite a lot of work done to it. I'm not going to worry too much about things like the background with the car and the distance. These are all so small that it won't take long to do. Probably one of the things I'll need to concentrate is the sky, so let's see how we get on. One of the things to also note, if you look at the original board before I started painting on it, as usual I ink everything in with a Bic pen, just a normal pen, but quite often with the acrylic paint it can show through. You'll see on the yellow of the car above that you can still see the black line. On the actual sky, I knew that I wanted no trace of the pen through, so I just put that in with pencil line instead of the pen. I knew if the detail was lost to me, it didn't make any difference because I was going to completely just do a neutral blue sky above it. Right, that's been about another hour and 10 minutes, so we're on about 2 hours and 10 minutes in total. You can see putting in the sky really helped balance everything out, and I've added in more tone to the bodywork of the car, and just started adding some details here and there. I still think I need to add a bit more tone around the main tyre that you can see at the back, but again, as soon as I started painting in the light and the dark on the tyre trims, I've forgotten what they're called, the wheel arches, the wheel thing. well, whatever it's called. As soon as I put that in, then it really started to pick up a bit. So it's mostly just putting in some detailing now. I still want to add a bit more neutral highlighting. That sounds a bit weird, but it just means picking out some more of the road surface. I've still got to do Knight Rider, as he's called, his car in the background, which literally is just a blob. I just need to put in a tiny bit of dark shading round about the grille and do the headlamps that he has on. But yeah, it's come together really well in that last session. I'm a lot happier with it now, and obviously I need to put in the National Renegade tyre a bit better. But yeah, here we go. I think one of the things that works quite well for this scene is the strong colours. The Interceptor car is 3 strong colours with the red and yellow and blue, but it works well against the earthy tones of the background, the road, and the sky. Obviously the highlighting on the wheels and parts of the car really help bring it out as well. So overall I think it worked quite well, and it's a fairly simple scene to work on. I seem to have more trouble signing my name at the bottom than doing anything else. That's another half an hour, and I'm calling it finished. So that's probably about 2 hours 40 in total. I could endlessly tweak this and just keep going, adding in different details and putting in different things. But again, that's not the point of this painting, and I think overall it works quite well. I'm quite pleased with it. So there you go. If you've enjoyed watching me paint, give this video a like and subscribe to my YouTube channel for more content. All of my art is available to buy, so check out my shop. And if you'd like to help keep me painting, you can support me on Patreon or throw me some cash at Buy Me a Coffee. You'll find links in the description box below. Thanks for watching.